to the channel. I'm back to break down the 6-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, quick disclaimer, this slate is going to involve one game on DraftKings that's not involved on FanDuel. The Cincinnati-Washington game is a doubleheader, so that's only going to be 7 innings, and it's only going to be featured on the DraftKings slate. So as we're going along here, pitchers such as Sonny Gray and Steven Strasburg are going to be featured in a 7 innings pitched game. So disclaimer there, is only on DraftKings. And yeah, with that being said, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to be working hard on these videos all year long, putting in the effort to give you guys some good data, some good info, and help you guys become better and more profitable MLB DFS players. And then if you are getting very, very serious about MLB DFS and you really want to invest in it, I would highly recommend my Patreon package. That's linked below in the description. My premium package, you get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own lineups. My starting pitcher data sheet, my hot hitter StatCast data, splits leaderboard, team hitting data, bullpen data, power rankings, and cheat sheet. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. It's a segment I do on every single video. I'm going to give you guys my home run call of the day backed up with things like, hitting weather, ballpark data, pitch data, all the above. A guy that I really like that's in a good spot to go deep. So with all of that being said and out of the way, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. So as always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today in K rate is going to be Mr. Shohei Ohtani. We're dealing with a 32 innings pitch sample size now. He's slowly but surely creeping up there in his sample size. And we're starting to see what he's really going to have to offer here after being on the IL for quite some time as far as pitching is concerned. A 33.1% K rate overall, 13% swinging strike rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's pretty good. A 40.6% K rate against righties, and then a 26.3% K rate against lefties. So really, really dominant against righties. Against lefties, he's pretty good as well on the ground ball, fly ball, all that stuff. He just has a bit of a walk issue. Continues to be a concern of ours. But he's taking on an Oakland team today that could definitely be, a favorable match for him with some strikeouts to be had. He's a plus 124 underdog, but he's pitching in the Oakland Coliseum, which is a great environment for pitching. You can see there's a lot of red out there as far as hitting is concerned, as far as home runs, which we always like to target stadiums where it's not too easy to hit home runs, of course. If it's a fly ball, there's a lot likely chance that it's a fly ball to the warning track instead of getting over the wall out there. So Shohei Ohtani, he's 10-3 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, I got a price at 7-7. And as mentioned, the only disclaimer on him is the walk issue, but still going to like him. These next two guys are featured in the 7 innings pitched game, so they're only going to be on the DraftKings slate, but going to be top options for sure. Even though it's a 7 innings pitched game, these guys are much better than a lot of the options we have. Whether you can really go to them is going to be tough. I mean, Steven Strasburg just started out the IL. As far as what we've seen out of him so far, he threw 72 pitches. So maybe, he'll slowly but surely creep up, but he is priced at 8.5, and as mentioned, this game's going to get cut short as is. So I'm not going to be the one to talk you off or on them based upon that, but what I will say is Washington and Cincinnati, both decently hitting teams, but both strikeouts to be had. And both guys can definitely punch out both sides of the plate. Both guys have good ground ball, fly ball stuff against both sides of the plate. And honestly, both guys are very similar as far as how they grade out stats-wise. So both great plays. Steven Strasburg has a higher swinging strike rate, but other than that, you look across the board, these guys are pretty much identical in how they fare against right-handed and left-handed pitching. So both great options. Could limit their upside, getting cut short, not being able to go 9, but if you don't feel comfortable going to other options and you just think it's worth slotting them in, I would understand that. So that's pretty much where I would leave that at. Dylan Cease taking on the Baltimore Orioles. I think he's going to be a great option today, taking on a team that strikes out a bunch. A 23.4% K overall, 11.4 swing strike rate. The hard contact stuff's good. A 26.8% K rate against righties, and then a 20.3% K rate against lefties. Has been a lot better against right-handed hitting overall, but against the lefties, he's pretty respectable as well. And as mentioned, he's taking on a Baltimore team that strikes out a bunch. So when you're taking on a team like that, you definitely like to target them. Problem is, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think this game plays, so I almost don't even want to go into it that much. You're looking at the forecast, 94% rain all the way through midnight. I get the feeling this one's not going. So unfortunately, that's going to cut the slate down another game. I'll talk about it lightly in case it does happen, but I don't think this game is going to play today, guys, unfortunately. So, he's a great option, but probably not going to be an option. Next guy is Chris Bassett taking on the Los Angeles Angels at 23.2% K overall. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's pretty respectable, especially against right-handed hitting. Against the lefties, he does have some issues. but he does have a higher K rate against those lefties as well, so a little bit of a blend here. He's been really good on the season so far, and he's taken on a Los Angeles Angels lineup that we've seen is a bit washed down right now, so that makes me like him a bit more. Comes in as a 144 favorite, expected to get the win in this one. He's 9-1 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got a price at 8-3. And I kind of think he's the guy you might want to be looking to in this slate because really you're only scared of three guys in this lineup. It's Ohtani, Rendon, and Jared Walsh. And then once you get down past them, it's not really too much of a worry. So I'm definitely thinking that I like Chris Bassett. And I'm definitely thinking he might be the go-to option outside of Ohtani. So those two guys are really going to be in the contention for me. Alex Wood's been really good this year. The problem is he's taking on a Dodgers team that just really doesn't strike out all that much. Based on pure talent, you could be going to him on the slate. Like, I would understand that. I wouldn't call you crazy because the ground ball, fly ball stuff, the strikeout stuff, all that stuff, he's been really, really good this year. But, like I said, the matchup is less than ideal. It's taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. I just feel like maybe we could pivot to an Ohtani or Chris Bassett or something and feel pretty good about that versus having to target the Dodgers. So, Alex Wood, good option, but not great in this particular matchup. Last time he faced these guys, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks, 6 innings pitched. You know, a decent performance for sure, and I think he'll do good again, but I think we can target some other guys that might have some more upside, and Alex Wood might not be the one I'm going to today. Then you got Colby Allard taking on Seattle, and you have, in this same game, Chris Flexen taking on Texas. And both these teams strike out a bunch, and Colby Allard's really not a good pitcher, but he's decent enough to where you could be playing against Seattle for sure. 19.7 strikeout rate, 19.2 strikeout rate against righties, and a 20.9% strikeout rate against lefties. Once again, ground ball, fly ball, hard contact, all that stuff's a little bit rough around the edges. But when you're taking on a Seattle team that's this bad, they only have a 4.25 implied run total. And I definitely think he could be a good option. We're also seeing some conflicted reports, whether it's going to be him or Jordan Lyles. So if it's Jordan Lyles, the same rule is going to kind of apply to him if he is the pitcher in this one. But as of now, I'm expecting it to be Allard, and he's definitely going to be viable. Jordan Lyles is pretty bad, but same rule would apply to him, honestly. I'd still be willing to play him in this particular matchup. I'm sorry to keep you on it, guys. I'm trying my best here, but yeah, I think I'd still be willing to play him. So, and then after that, Chris Flexen, Texas. And once again, team that strikes out a bunch, he's really not good. He really doesn't strike out anyone. But you can play him if you want. That one's a little bit more scary for me. I feel more comfortable going to a guy like a Colby Allard. So with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to sort my sheet by Sierra, skill interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in their career and how good they're expected to be in the future. And the worst on the slate today is going to be Seth Frankoff taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Ground ball, fly ball, swing, strike rate, K rates, all pretty bad. He has done a pretty good job of limiting the slugging to right-handed hitting, but left-handed hitting has been really, really bad in the early going. An 8.18 slugging, giving up 5.85 WOBA, 47.4% fly ball rate. Really bad numbers against left-handed hitters particularly. And the Cardinals have a 4.94 implied run total, and then you factor in the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen is not good, and you factor in that the Cardinals are on the road, which is a big ballpark upgrade for them. Chase Field plays much better to hitters than it does as far as St. Louis is concerned. So all the things kind of align for the Cardinals to have a big day in this one. And I definitely like the stack a lot. Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, Edmundo Sosa, Lane Thomas, up and down. You could play 1 through 8 in this one and feel pretty comfortable with it. Obviously, we like the heart of the lineup the most, but everyone's going to own them. Everyone always plays the guys at the top of the lineup. So if you want to go to the bottom of the lineup and pivot off them, no issues. And particularly the lefties and Chase Field plays very, very well to them down that right field line. So I always like to target the left-handed bats. And yeah, great stacking opportunity there, I'd say. Chris Flexen taking on Texas. We had mentioned maybe playing him, but we can also definitely play some Texas bats. A 4.76 slugging given up to righties, a 4.64 slugging given up to lefties. He is a little bit better against lefties, which is a little bit unfortunate when it comes to this match because Texas doesn't have some bats that we like to target from the left-handed side. However, they have some bats from the right-handed side as well. Most notably, Nick Solak, Adolis Garcia, Chris Davis, Isaiah Kinner-Fafella. Those 4 guys specifically are all great options. Then you can mix in the lefties to fill out your stacks with guys like Nate Lowe, Joey Gallo have a bunch of power. Willie Calhoun has a bunch of power. And not scared of the Seattle bullpen either. So Seattle's not the best hitting environment, unfortunately. I'll pull that up for you guys. But as far as stackability and all that stuff's concerned, I definitely think that we could still go to them. I mean, decent for home runs. Overall, just not a good hitter's park, if we're being honest. But when you got a guy like Joey Gallo, Chris Davis has a bunch of power, guys that can hit the ball 450 feet, you don't really have to worry about the ballpark all too much sometimes. So could definitely be going to that stack. Colby Allard taking on Seattle. We had mentioned maybe this could be Jordan Lyles as well. They're pretty equivalently bad. The only difference is Colby Allard throws from the left as a lefty, and Jordan Lyles throws as a righty. And regardless, I'm going to like the Seattle bats in some tournament lineups. I'd be going to the righties heavy if it's Allard. If it's Lyles, you can kind of mix in more of a blend. Mitch Haniger, Kyle Lewis, Ty France for the righties as far as Allard's concerned. And then, as mentioned, if it's Jordan Lyles, I like everyone across the board. You still got Jared Kelenic, top prospect, Kyle Seager, J.P. Crawford, and no issues with that. The Texas bullpen isn't the greatest either. So you got to pick which side of the fence you're on. Both offenses aren't good. Both pitchers aren't good. One's going to have to break that way. And whoever's on the right side of that could pay off big in tournaments. Ohtani, I'm not really looking to target. He has a pretty bad SIERA right now, strictly because of his walk rate issues. The walk rate's really popping off the page, so that's dipping him down in SIERA. But overall, not a guy I'm really wanting to target. Dylan Cease, I don't even think this game's going to play, as mentioned, but if it does, he does give some hard contact issues. Stack up the O's if you want. I don't think this game's going to play, so tough to even kind of talk about it. Edwin Uceda taking on the San Francisco Giants has been really bad on the hard contact category across the board. He only has 7 innings pitched, but he's been pretty terrible, to be honest. And the Giants are on the road in Dodger Stadium. And if he's going to be the one that's taking the bump, they might be able to hop on him early. Mike Yastrzemski, Buster Posey, Alex Dickerson, Evan Longoria, Brandon Crawford, Mike Tauchman. 1 through 6, I'm going to really like. The 2 guys you can fill in to bottom out your stacks. And I always say it's a possibility, but they're probably, the least interest of mine based upon talent and all that stuff. Sometimes there's guys at the bottom that are a little more pop, but I wouldn't call it crazy, and I'll have to dig into it. Maybe I'm selling these guys short as far as Dubon and Vosler is concerned when it comes to how they profile against Uceda and such. Bruce Simmons, I don't think that game's going to play. Carlos Martinez taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's pretty good across the board, honestly. The Diamondbacks have been pretty on the season, and Martinez isn't the greatest either. He's kind of been so. If you want to stack up the Diamondbacks, I wouldn't call you crazy for sure. This is a game that could go off. But I have far less interest in the Diamondbacks than I do the Cardinals. And if I'm going to the Diamondbacks, it's going to be Josh Rojas, Ketel Marte, Eduardo Escobar, David Peralta, Carson Kelly, Josh Reddick. This is a lineup where I could see myself playing 1 through 8. So we just talked about maybe not playing the bottom of the lineup. I could see 1 through 8 in this one for sure. So some pop at the bottom of the order. Chris Bassett taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Honestly, I'm not really looking to target him too much. If I'm looking to target him, it's with left-handed power. Gives up a 419 slugging. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not that good. And unfortunately for us, Shohei Ohtani is going to be pitching, so we're not going to accrue any points for his fantasy points as far as his hitting stats are concerned. So Jared Walsh should be the one that you're really looking to there as a one-off, and he could definitely be in a great spot. And then from there, it's really kind of dries up. Like Alex Wood, you could target the Dodgers right-handed bats that really crush left-handed pitching, most notably Justin Turner, of course. Then you got Albert Pujols, Chris Taylor, but not getting all too excited to target him. And with that being said, that is my overall breakdown of the slate today. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Adolis Garcia taking on Chris Flex. And I mentioned his hard contact issues against right-handed hitting. A 476 slugging, giving up 364 WOBA. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is not good. It only strikes out hitters at 12.4% clip as far as on the right-hand side of the plate. Not going to get the job done. And Adolis Garcia has displayed a ton of power early on. Flexing very reliant on the fastball. We'll go to that about 40% of the time as far as how Adolis Garcia fares against that pitch. A 406 ISO with a 494 WOBA off right-handed pitching. Absolutely mashes. And then as far as the secondary pitches, Flexing on really reliant on that cutter, and then he'll go to the curveball. And as far as the cutter is concerned, Adolis Garcia features a 333 ISO with a 544 WOBA, 80% hard contact rate, and the curveball is not an issue either. Adolis Garcia, a 333 ISO, 311 WOBA, 57.14 hard hit rate against that pitch. Love this spot for Adolis Garcia. Get him in your lineup because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Adolis Garcia, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that on the way to 800 subscribers. So thank you guys for all the support. Check out my premium package, link below in the description if you are interested. I also got some other links down there, KJK DFS merch, all that fun stuff. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.